welcome to another episode of The Kingdom and the Culture, Bridging the Gap. Y'all, I am sorry. That I'm a little tardy for my own party. That's why I put that status up earlier. So I was going to come on at 7-ish because I know my life. And I was running behind, but it's better late than never. So your girl is here. I am so excited for episode 3. We are going to talk about lessons from the life of my favorite biblical girl, Leah. But I want to, what are you guys doing tonight? What's going on? We'll give everybody a couple of minutes to get on, hop on, see what everybody is talking about. Hey, girl, hey. Thank you for joining me. And sipping out of my Save Girl Season mug, which I always sip because we about to get into this Save Girl tea. Give people a couple more moments to hop on. But what are you guys getting into? What are you guys doing? How was your day? How was your week? My week has been long. My baby traded goat. Hey, sis. He turned 9 Tuesday. So we have been turning up all weekend. If you know, ain't no party like a White House party. So I'm still trying to recover from his birthday festivities. But I am getting my life slowly but surely. But I thank you guys for hopping on this Thursday night. Thank you. He had a really, really good birthday. He got to hang out with his cousins. They went to, the White House party don't stop. Literally. But he had a sleepover with his cousins. They had to turn up all night. They went to Apex. And then he had a nice little cookout, a late night cookout. You know, my husband, he was the chef. So, you know, he cooks late. It's good, but it's late. So his party literally didn't stop until Sunday night. So we are still trying to get our life. But thank y'all for hopping on. So as you know, I'm going to go ahead and get into tonight's episode because I'm already, like I said, tardy for the party. But y'all know me. Okay. Y'all know how your girl is. But we're going to start off with some Save Girl tea. And we're going to sip it out our Save Girl season. Yes, got all of the sugar. Even baby Jermaine Squared. We got some sugar because that's how we do at the party house. But we can go ahead and sip our Save Girl tea. So, you know, we always start off every episode with a little Save Girl tea. That's when we talk about different topics, different things going on in pop culture, music, whatever. So let's get into our first topic, okay? Let's talk about Mr. Diddy, a.k.a. Love, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. whatever his name is this week. So him and your girl, Young Miami, a.k.a. Carisha, recently attended the Met Gala last week. Y'all know the Met Gala, where all the celebrities come out and they dress up real fancy. So anyway, y'all know they have this kind of on again, off again situationship. So, you know, they were together. Well, weren't together, were together. She asked me if they go together. So they go together real bad. And he ended up having a baby. Y'all know how Diddy is. Diddy is a lifelong playboy. But anyway, a couple of weeks ago, she said they were single. They ended up attending the Met Gala together. And at the Met Gala, they asked, Lala asked, were they together? So I'm going to let y'all, first of all, before we get into, you know, how I feel about their relationship, let me show y'all when they asked, okay, were they together, what his response was. Y'all, I'm so excited. I'm learning how to use Stream. Y'all, I can play videos and stuff. I'm getting so high tech. But I'm going to go ahead and show y'all the video.
I have the $1 million question right now. You ready for it? The $1 million question is, so do y'all officially go together real bad? I'm asking. I want to know.
She going to answer that.
You not answering that?
No, I'm answering, of course.
It's official? Real bad?
I don't know what you're asking exactly. We definitely go together real bad.
Then that's what it is. Yeah. Then that's what it is.
She's my date for the night.
It's just a good date night.
It's a date night. Date night.
We don't put titles on it. Everybody wants us to put a title on it. We don't put titles on it. This is like my best friend in the world. one of the most beautiful people God has blessed me to
Absolutely.
meet. And I'm blessed that she's my date tonight.
Last question.
Do y'all see? Hold on. I'm back. Do y'all see how that man starts sweating when Lala asked him what they together? He starts sweating like a harlot in church. I'm gonna say harlot because this is a Christian broadcast. But y'all see how he starts sweating like a harlot in church when she asked if they go together? And he said, we don't put no titles. It's my best friend. Now, I don't know about y'all because I'm kind of undecided, because, I mean, she's a city girl. So maybe she's just in it for a good time, not a long time. Okay, he's rich, she got money. But part of me thinks that she's looking for something more, which is why she's still hanging around. If you know Diddy is a lifelong playboy. We see what he did with Kim. We see what he did with Cassie. Fortunately, Cassie got out in enough time. Now she done found her a nice, Caucasian young man, and she got kids. She done moved on. She found some sex. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I mean, this man called you his best friend. He said we don't want to put titles on it. And as somebody, I told y'all in my first episode, as somebody that, was used to being in situationships, I don't know. Yeah, Cassie is living the life. Cassie got her, she got herself, she got her since she got out of it. She found her way. What was it? The sunken place. She crawled her way out of the sunken place. In enough time. He didn't waste he wasted her 20s. He didn't waste all her 30s. But I'm like, come on. Like, I don't know. I like Carisha. I think she's, young. She's beautiful. She got this whole, following with the city girls. I just feel like she's wasting her time. What did it? I don't know. That's just me personally. I just feel like, yeah, if she's looking for something more, it's not with Diddy. But again, that's just me. Okay, so let's go to our next topic. Okay, so for those of you that enjoy the verses, okay, Swiss Beats was recently on Jennifer Hudson's talk show, and she asked him about the verses, and he said that he was waiting on her, and unless she doesn't want to be, yes, definitely feel like he's wasting her time. She could be out here, with somebody else, and she's wasting her time with Diddy. But back to Jennifer Hudson in the verses. Okay, so Jennifer Hudson and Fantasia. How do y'all feel about a Jennifer Hudson and Fantasia verses? I have already nicknamed it the Scream Tour. Okay, Scream Tour 2.0. It's baby, you can't wear your earbuds listening because it's gonna be some, yeah. It's gonna be some yelling and some screaming and squalling. It's gonna be good, but it's gonna be loud. It's gonna be a lot of holleration in that dance arena. But who do y'all think will win? Now, personally, yes, the Scream Tour. It's gonna be yes. Who do y'all think would win in that versus? Now, personally, look, okay, God is still working on you, girl. This is super petty. I mean, God's still working on it. Rebuke that petty spirit. I still have a beef with Jennifer Hudson. I ain't gonna lie, from back in the Dream Girl days, because y'all know my best friend, that was supposed to be my best friend's movie, and she came in with her hooping and a hollering and just tried to steal the show. And so from that point on, I have had a beef. She don't know we got beef, but I have had beef with her to this day. So, because y'all know how I write about my best friend. And so personally, I'm going for Fantasia. But overall, I think Fantasia has more hits. So I think Fantasia, yes, Dreamgirls is also my movie. I was so excited to go see that movie because I just knew Beyonce was going to kill it. But then, she came and she did it and won the Oscar and all that stuff. And I just felt I haven't been able to get over that all these years later. But yeah, I think Fantasia out of the two is going to win if they were to do a versus, which I probably going to end up turning into a church service, knowing both of them. But speaking of Fantasia, because y'all know how my mind works, it's all over the place. So Mother's Day is coming up. This is my question for y'all. Okay, so remember y'all, Have y'all ever had a song that y'all like that honestly you felt like it spoke to you and y'all can relate to, but really y'all couldn't relate to because you really didn't have anything like the song for whatever reason, like really wasn't about your life. So Fantasia had this song on her first album. Remember this song called Baby Mama? And I don't know why that song, for whatever reason, I still ran and be like, my name is Brittany and I'm a baby mama. Y'all remember that the intro and people, I'm a baby mama. And for whatever reason, because I ain't nobody baby mama, but that song just had me wanting to feel like I was somewhere, taking care of my kids and just struggling to pay daycare and just talking about how the price of Pampers and Similac. But I just rammed it to this day, be like, I'm a baby mama, and be like, B-A-B-Y. This goes out to all my baby mamas. So I'm gonna dedicate that to y'all for this upcoming Mother's Day. But that song really, yes. Yes, goes out to but I got love for all my baby mamas. But I don't know why that song ministered to my soul because I was not a baby mama. But do y'all have any songs like that for whatever reason you can identify with, even though you've never lived that life? Because that was that song for me. Is it was it a trap song? That's something that y'all, along with Jaheim, the song You and I See Why Is All We Need. You couldn't tell me I want from the hood, that I want struggling. Okay, like those songs, for some reason, I just felt the struggle. The struggle just resonated with my soul. So y'all let me know if y'all have any songs like that just resonate with you, even though you've never lived that life. You've never been a trap queen, but it's just you hear some of them songs and you just feel like you just been pushing work. You never had the struggle, but you just something about that. Like just let me know in the comments if you ever had any songs like that. Y'all know I'm all over the place. So, but anyway, okay. So, don't tell her, because she gonna think she already be wondering what she did wrong, where she went wrong. So, Rockstar. Okay, see, thank you. Somebody else brave enough to put down. I'm putting myself out there. Rockstar by Rihanna. Thank you for putting that. But yes, please don't tell my mama, because she gonna have to get in her prayer closet and she gonna have to try to figure out where she went wrong with me when I was a child. But okay, so let's get into today's lesson. So we are talking about my girl Leah. If you know anything about me, then you know one of my absolute favorite biblical characters is Leah. Okay, so to give you a little background, years ago, I was going through this really, really, okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I Can Love You by Mary, because y'all still commenting. I Can Love You by Mary J. I meant to say this. Anything by Mary J is going to make you feel like you going through that struggle. I had never had a man leave me with my kids and being his lover and his secretary, but you couldn't tell me when that song Not Gonna Cry that I wasn't crying. Okay, like I had been there and he had left mine. You know what? I should have left his, 1,000 times. Like anything by Mary, you gonna feel the struggle. Anything by Mary. I Can Love You by, yes, I Can Love You better than she can. Sips tea. Thank God for growth. Yes, will make you slap your husband listening to Mary J. Like she said it was your child, and it really messed me up. Holding a baby with an ass like yours. Oh, okay. Let me let me come back. Okay, let me come back. Let me get back on task. Okay. Back to the story of Leah. Okay. So I was going through this really, really tough time. And God led me to start studying the story of Leah. And like most people, I was familiar with her story, but I saw her as more of this minor character in the life of her husband. Jacob. But God told me to study her life, and He told me if you rearrange the letters of her name, Leah, you get the word heal. And it was through the ministry that He gave me that was inspired by her life that many women would find healing. Yes, the Leah, thank you, Milk, the Leah Heal Project. That's my baby. And I remember thinking to myself at the time, like, God, how can I possibly help anybody else and find healing when my own life is such a mess? But He began to show me how, just like with the life of Leah, He was going to give me beauty for my ashes, which is why Isaiah 61:3 is my absolute favorite scripture. And Leah's life is one of the ultimate examples of this. And He also began to show me through her life how so many women relate to Leah in her life one way or another. If you've ever dealt with low self-esteem, if you've ever felt unseen, if you have ever been in love with a man that couldn't or wouldn't love you back, if you have ever been made to feel not good enough, then you will be able to relate to my girl Leah. So we're introduced to Leah in Genesis chapter 29. At this point, Jacob has left his father's house and he is going to find a wife. So he travels to the home of Laban, his mother's brother, so his uncle. So he's staying with Laban, and Laban is like, look, nephew, you've been staying here, you've been working. How do you want me to pay you? Now, this is where we're first introduced to Leah. Verse 16 and 17 says, now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance. Now, I read that Leah's eyes being weak meant that more than likely she had some type of issues going on with her eyes, like she was cross-eyed or she had a lazy eye. Something was going on. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have her younger sister, who was described as beautiful in form and appearance. So in other words, Rachel was a 10 in the face, slim in the waist. Y'all know the rest, right? But the only thing mentioned about Leah is her abnormality. So I can imagine Leah growing up, probably always comparing herself to her younger sister. And it reminds me of, y'all used to watch the Brady Bunch. It reminds me of Marsha and Jan from the Brady Bunch, and how Marsha always seemed to be so perfect, and how Jan was always in her shadow. She's like, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. So I can imagine it was the same thing with Leah and Rachel. It was probably always Rachel, Rachel, Rachel. And then to make matters worse, here comes Jacob. And once their father Laban asked him what he wanted for his wages to be, instead of asking for money, he asked for Rachel to be his wife. And he vows to work for Laban for 7 years so that he can marry her. And so he works the 7 years, and then he tells Laban, he's like, yo, uncle, I worked my 7 years. Now can I have my wife? And so Laban is like, cool. And they have this big old feast, and they turn up, and then Jacob goes with his bride that night, and he gets to know her in the biblical sense, right? All the while, not knowing that it was really Leah and not Rachel. Now, mind you, he didn't realize this until the next morning, okay, that he had been tricked. They had been, partying. It was dark. She probably had a veil on, So when they got home the whole night, he thought he was with Rachel. But when he woke up, it was actually Leah. Has that ever happened? Yes, Laban was dead wrong. But has that ever happened, to any of you? Now, I know most of y'all probably been saved all your life. But those of my sisters that had a BC life, a life before Christ. Have you ever been out? Has that ever happened to you? You ever been out in a club, y'all, and it was dark, and you ain't been dancing or flirting, with somebody, and while the lights out, you think you dancing with this young usher. I say usher because that's been my yes, of course it has. You think you dancing with a young usher, with the lights off, and then they turn them lights on when the club is about to end, and he really trying to be looking like somebody old deacon. Has that ever happened to any of y'all? Just me. And now you got to figure out a way to how to, mix into the crowd and escape to your car. Just me? Okay, all right. Well, I'll be found out you dancing with Shrek. Exactly. You thought you got Prince Charming the whole time. It was Shrek. But thank God for growth that we no longer there. But Jacob wakes up, right, the next morning, and he realized that he has been tricked, which is ironic, knowing that Jacob's name actually means deceiver. And he had a history of deceiving others. But in this situation, the deceiver has now been deceived. Yes, a whole Shrek. But God, thank God for growth. And thank God for husbands, because now we ain't got to go through that no more. We ain't got to go through our Shreks to find our Prince Charmers. We got our Prince Charmers now. But the deceiver has now been deceived. So he's mad with Laban, and rightfully so. Okay, this man has worked 7 years to be with Rachel. But instead of being given the wife he wanted, he is given her sister. So he confronts Laban. But Laban says, look, hold up. In our country, it's not customary for the younger sister to be married before the oldest. But if you work another 7 years, I'm going to let you marry Rachel as well. So Jacob agrees. Now, side note, ladies, if you ever get a man that say he can't wait for you, I need y'all to remember the story of Jacob, because this man worked 7 years. Okay, actually 14 total. So we got to give him, deceiver and all, you got to give him some credit. That's love. Because after them 7 years, I ain't gonna lie, your girl would have been like, what's the saying? If you can't be with the one you love, be with the one you like. Okay, because yes, that's a long time. But he worked those additional 7 years to be with Rachel. And I want to pause right here because exactly, deuces. I'm going to make it work with Leah. Like 14 years, Rachel must have been a baddie, okay? But he works the 14 years. So I want to pause right here because whenever I study these women of the Bible, I always like to try to place myself in their shoes, because it helps me to see them as real women instead of just these biblical figures. So I can imagine how Leah must have felt dealing with all of this. So she's growing up knowing that she wasn't this great beauty. And so she probably compared herself to her sister often. Okay? Rachel was the pretty one, and she was just the other one. Guys weren't beating down her daddy's door to marry her, which is evident in the fact that her father even felt the need to trick Jacob into marrying her in the first place. So I imagine her self-esteem wasn't very high. Living in your sister's shadow and now being given away as a consolation prize, I wonder how she felt when her father told her of his plan. The fear of how Jacob would react once he found out he had been tricked, then the embarrassment of realizing that they would have to trick this man just so you could get married in the first place. But a part of me also believes that maybe a tiny part of her may have felt just a tiny bit of gratification, because for once she had something that her sister wanted. She may have not had the looks, she may not even have had the love, but she had the man. How many of us have ever been there before? That the only thing that mattered was having that man, even if we knew his heart was somewhere else. We had that man. But just like Leah, we find out you can't make a man love you. As she quickly finds out once Jacob agrees to work an additional 7 years so that he can still marry her sister. And so verse 30 says that Jacob went into Rachel also. So he goes in, he knows her in the biblical sense. And he loved Rachel more than Leah. And he served Laban for another 7 years. And in verse 31 says, when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So here we have El Roi. Remember, we learned about El Roi in the first episode. El Roi, the God that sees me, saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb. Now we know that children are gifts from God, but because Leah was still so focused on winning the love of her husband, she did not see these children as the gifts they were from God. She saw that as the gifts they were from God, who saw that she was unloved, but instead she saw them as another way to make Jacob want her. And so she begins to have these sons, and each son is named as somehow reflects the hope that this child will be the reason that her husband now loves her. And that's why I say her story reflects so many women, even today. Because how many of us have known a woman, or maybe we are even that woman? We've known women that have thought that a baby was going to make a man stay. You think because you have given a man your body, and now this baby, that he is going to love you. So now you walking around with little, Taekwonisha, because you want everybody to know her dad when it was Taekwon. So you named her little Taekwonisha. Um, like, girl, we know you love Taekwon. Okay, we get it. But you got little Taekwon, and now Taekwon done left you, and he's nowhere to be found. So Leah is now alone. And she gives birth to her first son, right? She gives her first son, Reuben, which means because the Lord has looked upon my affliction, for now my husband will love me. But that didn't work. So then she has Simeon, and she says, surely because the Lord has heard that I am hated, he has given me this son also. But it didn't work. So then she has Levi. Now this time my husband will be attached to me because I have borne him not one, not two, but 3 sons. And it still didn't work. But something happened with that 4th son, because we finally see her focus shift from her husband to the Lord. And she names him Judah, which means this time I will praise the Lord. So she has these 4 sons, which in that culture was a big thing, because as women, they were supposed to marry and they were supposed to give their husbands sons. And because of this, we see the dynamics begin to shift in their relationship between her and her sister, because Rachel was barren, meaning she couldn't have any children. And so she begins to now envy her sister. And here we have a sister who seems to have everything. She has the looks, she has the husband, now envying her other sister. This goes to show how many women who we follow on social media, or we may look up to or know in real life, who seem to have it all together, how they may be battling things behind closed doors that we may never know about. Rachel had a man that loved her, but couldn't give her the one thing that she wanted, which was a child. And Leah had the children, but had a man that couldn't give her the one thing that she needed, which was to be loved. 2 sisters, both at the opposite ends of the spectrum, in love with a man that couldn't or wouldn't give them what they needed. And so, as it was custom at that time, Rachel then gives her servant to Jacob, since she couldn't have children, so that she could have children through her. And does this remind you of our first story? Remember, we were talking about Sarah and Hagar, these poor servants, they just getting given away, But she gives a servant, she like, here, I can't have kids of my own, so you will have some kids for me, okay? And so begins this competition between the sisters on who could have the most children. So Rachel's servant has two sons. So now Leah said, oh, I'm not going to let you one up me, okay? You already took my man. Now you're trying to take the kids. I'm going to give you my servant. So she gives her servant to Jacob as well, who also has two sons. And then Leah actually goes on to have two more biological sons and a daughter. And again, she starts back with this cycle where her children somehow reflect the need of validation from her husband. She has Issachar, which means God has given me my wages because I have given my servant to my husband. And then lastly, she has Zebulon, which means God has endowed me with a good endowment. Now my husband will honor me because I have borne him 6 sons. Her focus goes right back to this man. And so we see eventually even Rachel does conceive biological children as well, 2 biological sons of her own. She has Joseph and she has Benjamin. And most of us are familiar. Yes, Jacob was out of pocket. Okay, Jacob, he needed to put it in his pocket. That's the problem. Why he was having all these kids. But they were allowing it. They were actually having and have y'all ever seen that? Side note, this is why I said, like, the Bible says nothing new under the sun. Have y'all ever seen girls actually compete? I have seen that. Compete that by having babies by a man. I'm like, this man is somebody getting pregnant. And they trying to, I'm gonna have his baby, now I'm gonna have his baby, now I'm gonna have another baby, like in competitions. Like, what sense does that make? Did y'all used to ever watch Love and Hip Hop? I told y'all, God is still working on me. But y'all remember Peter Guns and Tyra and Amina? These women were beautiful, intelligent women competing, having babies back to back, just so they could keep trying to one up each other. And this man is sitting back, getting all the knowing everybody in the biblical sense. Like, come on, like this makes no sense. But this is, yes, anybody again that tells you the Bible, yeah, and they both named the sons after the guy. Yes, like it's so sad. But we would say the Bible is not interesting, baby. They had some stuff going on. Okay, but yes, so we know about Joseph, okay, and how he was Jacob's favorite son. But I want to talk about Leah's beauty for ashes, okay? Because as we know, Joseph was Jacob's favorite son, born to him by his favorite wife. And while Jacob would go on to do many great things, even rising up to become second in command in Egypt, it was through one of Leah's sons that we have the lineage of Jesus. Her son Judah, the one whose name means this time, y'all, I will praise the Lord, is a forefather of Jesus Christ. And I can't help but to wonder if God chose Judah because this was the child where Leah's focus finally shifted from seeking her husband's praise to praising him. Even though she was unloved by her husband and used as part of a scheme by her earthly father, Leah had a heavenly father who saw her and thought her worthy enough to be included in the lineage of her son, Jesus Christ. And as I reflect on her story, I think back to a conversation that I had one time with a coworker. We were working at a nonprofit years ago at the time. And one of the things that we provided was financial assistance. And I remember us having this conversation one day because we were trying to understand how we could better help some of these women who came in, looking for help and assistance. And these were women who were going through, a tough time financially. And a lot of them had these children, with no help from their fathers. And God showed me that these are the Leahs and that the world is full of more women from all different walks of life, single, married, rich, poor, black, white, in need of healing, in need of reassurance from God that he sees them and they are loved and they are not forgotten, that they are worthy, that once they realize how much their heavenly Father loves them, they won't work so hard to gain the love of an earthly man. that where society may tell them that they aren't good enough, that they aren't beautiful enough, that they aren't smart enough, that they have a God that loves them so much that, girl, he even knows the exact numbers of hair on your head, and that you are the apple of his eye. So I want to, before I wrap up, I want to pray for all my Leahs, because we've all been a Leah. We've all had something go on, whether it's been, again, not feeling worthy enough, not feeling good enough, being in love with a man, that doesn't love you back. But I want to pray, for healing, that you will realize your self-worth, that you will realize that you have a father that loves you and that cares about you, and that he thinks that, not thinks, but he knows that you are special, that he loves you even before he put you in your mother's womb, and that you are worthy. And so, that is my lesson from the life of Leah. I hope you guys have learned something from it. Yes, thank you, God, for not forgetting about me. In a world where you can feel overlooked, when you can feel unloved, where people can make you feel not worthy, or you can compare yourself to other people. You have a God that sees you, and he wants to give you beauty for your ashes, even like he did with the life of Leah. You have a woman who from birth was the underdog, you know, compared to her sister, was used as in a scheme by her father, was unloved by her husband, had multiple children by a man who wouldn't love her. But God loved her and thought enough about her to say, you know what? I'm going to take this child. I'm going to use one of your sons, and from your lineage is going to come. I'm going to the Jesus Christ. Like, if that is not a beauty for Ash's story, then I don't know what is. But that's it. I thank y'all for tuning in with me again tonight and bearing with me and all my craziness and all tardiness and bouncing all over the place. But y'all know how we do. And y'all love me just as I am. And I love y'all just as y'all are. But yes, until next time. Before I go, yes. Make sure y'all are following us on social media, okay? Instagram is savegirl_summer. Facebook is at Save Girl Summer, and also YouTube. If you have not already subscribe to my YouTube channel, Save Girl 984. All right, y'all do that for me. But I thank y'all again for joining us. I love y'all. I love y'all. Each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all keep me going. Y'all come on. Brunch coming. Okay, girl. There you go. There you go. Brunch coming. Y'all, actually, I want to, before I go, what do y'all think about doing like a live podcast episode? If we have a brunch, if we're going to have the brunch, doing a live podcast episode. So if y'all come to the brunch, I am thinking of doing a live podcast episode with like my audience. Y'all will be my audience, live audience. So yeah. What y'all think about it? Y'all let me know. I'm still thinking of playing around with different ideas, but I think I would like to do that, to be able to interact with y'all in real life, because we be cutting up here in these social media streets, but be able to cut up with y'all in real time would be awesome. So I love y'all, but as my mama always says, who love y'all more? Jesus. And until next time, Save Girl out. Bye, y'all.